This program do not necessarily reflect or represent those of the owners, management, or advertisers of Pacific Telestations, Inc. This message has been brought to you by the stations of KUAM.
You're watching Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this evening's show. I have a very exciting show. I have two former senators sitting in front of me, former Senator Carmen Casper-Bauer and former Senator Tony Sanford. And we're going to be talking about what's going on in our the Guam Catholic Church today. Senator Casper-Bauer, you led this, you're one of the organizers for this prayer walk, basically, that happened at St. Anthony Church and also up at the, I think it's the Carmelite, convent up there.
Yeah.
When the visitors from Rome came out here as I think they called it an apostolic or a pastoral visit.
Yes. Thank you, Senator Jesse. I guess the three former senators. Thank you for having us this evening.
It's a pleasure.
And oh, by the way, do you know that my husband and I are the only living couple, former senators?
There we go. And I served with your husband. I served with Tony in the 27th.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, I did lead with others the prayer at St. Anthony, and we were not trying to have any confrontation or demonstration. We just wanted unity in our church because many of us are hurting over a lot of the talk that's going on about the NEO. And so that's why we wanted the people from Rome to know that even though we were not able to be put on the schedule for them to see us or hear us, we want them to know that and to feel our presence.
Now I know that the Archbishop was present up there in Tamuning. I saw pictures of him running out the back door, basically. But I know some of the visitors, the Rome visitors, came out and waved at you guys, basically, and acknowledged, and some of the Guam priests that were there thanked you guys for coming there and praying. Did the Archbishop approach you guys and say thank you as well for coming out and praying for unity?
He was not even visible to us. For some reason, the minute they know that we were there, because we were there half hour before they came, they whisked him on the back, downstairs and up the spiritual center, so we didn't see his coming or going. So.
Now, Senator Sanford, Senator Casper-Bauer talked about the neo-catechumenal, I guess, neos, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what exactly, I mean, we've had some movements within the church, and it always happened, basically, but it seems to me, from what I've been reading and from what I can witness as well, is that they're really drastic changes that are almost really not of maybe our upbringing and what we were taught as Catholics, as a totally different religion, please.
Well, that's really one of the reservations I have about this group. Is number one, you have to be invited to attend their services, number one. And number two, especially with the ministry as it goes through our island, there's been no choice, no voice for the parishes where they've taken over. And I think it creates a lot of resentment amongst the current parishioners who choose to continue their traditional worship structure and traditions. I think that the fact that we've not had any voice in this is really alarming. And although it was blessed by Vatican in the beginning, it was supposed to be, my understanding is that it should be like the Catholic Daughters.
Sure.
The old holy name and the sodality a long time ago. And it seems to have taken a life of its own. And what I think has created a lot of division is the fact that they have their own services. And most importantly, there's been no respect for the people.
Now, let me read to you something real quick and tell me your thoughts on this. We'll talk about the RMS, the property of the former Axion Hotel. And this is a letter from Archbishop Anthony Apron to Richard Ontalon there. He says, "Havade Richard, I'm appalled that you insist on to have number 5, which basically talks about the property up there, on the agenda in my absence, even after Vicar General asked that it not be discussed in my absence. the past meetings, when an issue comes up, e.g. retreat house, Malolo, and cemeteries, and the person involved is absent, it is tabled. All to more because I am absent, should this item be discussed until I come home. Please stop this nonsense. Richard, of course, writes back that same day. He says, Archbishop Apron, I received Deacon Steve's email yesterday regarding your instruction item number 5. At that moment, your directive was done. I had planned to announce it at the meeting. I'm still not sure how it was presumed otherwise. God bless you, and all that. But in doing so, they were going to, that the finance committee was supposed to talk about this. Now, this is December, okay? December 6, 2011. But the Archbishop, went to land management,
Yes,
the declaration of
registration.
deed restriction,
Yes.
okay, and this was registered. There were 4, actually, the premises. And this is document number 829322. 11/22/11.
Yes.
So it was a month before. So he told the finance committee not to talk about this.
What's
But
a
prior
done
to that,
deal?
he already quick deeded basically
Yes.
the place the month before. And at this time, as well, he still hasn't told the finance committee until about a few months ago that they
exactly
found
right.
out that he deeded that. I mean, that is, whoa.
And you know, Senator, that's really what's so alarming is the fact that this was all negotiated in secrecy. I mean, that's why the Archdiocese Financial Council is in place, because it's mandated by the Vatican, the canon laws, that there is some kind of accountability, you know, for the finances. And this was all done in secrecy, totally unbeknownst to the Archdiocese Financial Council. So, you know, what prevents, that's $44 million worth of asset that was given to a structure, an organization totally outside of the church, totally outside of Guam. And I think this was done even without the knowledge of the Vatican, which we think is totally wrong.
You know, and then he goes on to say that he's got the controlling interest.
25%, Senator.
Yeah, and there's 4 of them, so yeah, okay.
So how's 25% a controlling interest, right?
Well, I mean, maybe that's the new math that
Well,
they're teaching now.
And then again, you know, what really is alarming is it seems to be that it was written to his name and not as the Archdiocese of Agana.
So should he step down, should he retire, it still goes with him because it doesn't transfer now to who the next archbishop may be.
That's exactly
Exactly.
right, because it is not through the Archdiocese, and it is through just Archbishop Anthony Aparon. There's a difference there, huge difference that I think our Guam parishioners should be totally, you know, up in arms about, because we've given away that asset outside of the church.
And when we give either to the Charities Appeal or again in collections, we're giving to our church.
And it has to be blessed by the people.
And when people say give properties or things of that nature, they're giving to the church for the good of the church. They don't giving to, now you may be the bishop or the priest, we're giving it, we're giving to you because, you know, but not really in your name.
No.
It's, you know, because you are working this to help us do this, to build a church, but it's not really your church, it's our church.
That's exactly right.
And you know,
Belongs to-
I want to say, ay Santa Maria acudiham,
Again.
Espiritu Santo inaham, San Jose adzudaham, zani gumadzos taginigi jaguam. There's lack of transparency with the new group. We have no idea what they're up to, and we're not against our fellow Catholics who are members of the new way.
It's the machinery.
We love everyone. We love them. And we love Bishop Aparon, because God says you can't get to heaven unless you love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and to love others as you love yourself. So many of us are really praying hard for Bishop Aparon. And we're praying very hard for all those who are causing this pain and anguish and division in our group, in our church.
Now, your thoughts on, of course, a couple weeks, I think it was a couple Sundays ago, were again the chancery, because I don't know who put it out. I mean, nobody signs their name to whatever is put out. again, really going after Monsignor James in the sense of travels and credit cards and all that, and some of these already have been answered by the finance committee, have already been answered, and so I'm going, well, is it not that, I mean, if you're chastising, I mean, has Monsignor James or Father Paul had their day in court?
Well, what's troublesome is why are we doing this in public, Senator?
Mm-hmm,
You know, why isn't it that he can call in these two individuals, respected individuals in our church, and ask them to you know, respond accordingly, and then settle it internally?
It's very bitter
Yes.
and hateful and ugly to chastise them publicly,
Yes.
not only embarrassing our priests, but their parents, their brothers,
Families.
their sisters,
Yes.
their relatives, and all of us in Guam, especially us, the Chamorro people who have been, you know, loyal.
Yeah.
How many since 1521 when we became Catholic?
And the most disheartening thing about this whole thing as well is that you're accused and you're removed from what you're doing because of an accusation, and that's been proven wrong
And
already.
then they can't defend
And
themselves.
they have not defended
They
themselves.
can't because of
yeah.
their vow of obedience,
vow of
which is so
obedience, yeah.
unfair.
Yeah.
But to me, you know, when it comes, when I try to talk about the wrong things that are happening under the authority of the Archbishop, they would tell me, oh, no, 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 don't do that because he has autocratic rulers, you know, governing. But I said, there's a limit to any autocracy. Even you as parent, you have autocratic
Yes.
ruling of your children,
Sure.
but you can't force them to eat broccoli unless you want to start cleaning up vomit.
To a certain extent, right?
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
And you can't
Exactly.
force your child to marry somebody,
Yes.
nowadays especially.
Yes.
You know, so when it comes to the doctrines of the church and the way Mass and all the religious thing, yes, he has the authority to speak up and be firm about it, but I don't think any bishop or archbishop or even the Pope has a right to force a priest to become neo.
And you know, there's a lot of fear.
And that's the
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
why they're doing this.
Ladies, I got to take a quick break. We'll come back with